When I wrote my first novel, I had no idea how to plot. The result? I wasted months rewriting it, going in circles, fixing one problem only to create three more. When I discovered J.K. Rowling's plot grid, it transformed how I outline my stories.
By the time I come to write, I really know what I'm doing. That doesn't mean to say there isn't room to have fun or there isn't room to go off on a little tangent here and there, but I really like the sense of knowing where I'm going.
You know that sinking feeling you get halfway through a draft? The one where the 10 brilliant subplots you dreamed up have twisted into a tangled, confusing mess? I've been there. J.K. Rowling was too, until she developed a deceptively simple method that changed everything.
I absolutely love the planning process because you're still in that amazing, optimistic state where you think this will be the book that you're entirely happy with. This will be the one that you have no regrets about.
While some writers and theorists spend years searching for the secret structure behind great novels, I almost laughed when I first saw Rowling's handwritten grid. It was so straightforward. But here's what most people miss when they glance at that now famous photograph. Rowling's secret isn't the grid itself, it's how she uses it. She doesn't just map the events of the story, she uses the grid to engineer emotional momentum. Sure, creating a plot grid takes work. It might even look intimidating at first, but trust me, the work you put in up front will save you months of painful rewrites. This tool helps you write faster, guiding you to a finished draft in weeks instead of months, all while ensuring your story hits every emotional beat. It's a double win. In this video, I'll share my plan for outlining a story using the plot grid in 3 simple steps. Before we dive in, let's tackle the fundamental question. Do you even need to outline your story? Can't you just write by following inspiration wherever it leads? After all, famous writers like Stephen King and George R.R. Martin prove you can find massive success without a detailed plot.
I don't plot. I don't keep much in the way of notes.
I don't have a formal outline. I'm not one of these writers who outlines what's going to be in every scene, what's going to be in every chapter. I might be faster if I did.
When it comes to the writing process, there are 2 broad types of writers: plotters and discovery writers, also known as pantsers. Plotters develop a detailed plan before drafting. They know their characters' backstories, goals, and secrets, and they understand how the story will unfold and resolve. King belongs to the discovery writers. He doesn't plan his stories in detail. Instead, he trusts his instincts and improvises as events unfold, following the story wherever it leads. The good news is that Rowling's technique works for both approaches. Plotters devise a detailed outline before they start drafting. For them, the grid is a blueprint. Discovery writers can do what's called reverse outlining. After finishing a draft, they create an outline from the existing text. This helps them see the story's structure at a glance, find plot holes, and ensure every thread makes sense. The idea of structuring a story with a visual map is nothing new. Great writers have been doing it for ages. Vladimir Nabokov wrote Lolita on index cards. While traveling across the United States with his wife to study butterflies, he filled out cards for individual scenes and shuffled them daily, exploring different narrative possibilities. William Faulkner covered the walls of his study with pages outlining the plots of his novels. Joseph Heller created large charts while writing Catch-22 to track character appearances and timelines in his famously non-linear story. Now, let's see how you can turn this tool into your storytelling superpower. Step 1. Build the story grid. At its core, Rowling's plot grid is a simple story matrix. Across the top, she listed chapters or time segments. Down the left side, she listed different story threads.
Increasingly, I do a lot of planning on the laptop. I'll show you what I do now. I used to just handwrite all these tables.
Start by creating a simple table. For the columns, I recommend starting with broad story sections rather than individual chapters. Think in terms of 5 acts, or the main story beats: setup, rising action, crisis, climax, and resolution. For the rows, list your key story elements. Your initial grid might look something like this. Setting. Where and when does the story take place? It's especially useful if characters travel. Protagonist's arc. It's the core emotional journey of your hero. Main themes, the underlying ideas you want to explore. Main plot, or the primary sequence of events. Subplot A, subplot B, etc. These are secondary storylines. As you fill this out, your goal is to get a bird's-eye view of your story. The immediate benefits are obvious. See the whole story at a glance, making it easy to spot plot holes. Track multiple plot lines to ensure they are properly set up and resolved. Plan your foreshadowing and payoffs with intention. Control your pacing and maintain narrative momentum. Experiment with structure by rearranging scenes without losing the big picture. These are great, but they're just surface-level benefits. If readers don't care about your story, the most perfect plot in the world won't save it. The magic begins when we focus on emotion.
Want to master the art of emotional storytelling? Subscribe to my free newsletter for exclusive insights into the art and science of narrative. You'll get a fascinating ebook as a welcome gift. Link in the description below.
Step 2. Map the character's emotional journey.
Science shows that engaging stories trigger a cascade of neurochemicals in our brains: dopamine, oxytocin, cortisol, and endorphins. Our brains are wired to respond to narrative. Falling in love with a story is like falling in love with a person. The logical part of our mind takes a back seat, and we get to bask in that neurochemically induced bliss. This is how you hook readers for life. The key is understanding one simple truth. What matters isn't the events of the story, but how those events affect the characters and, by extension, the audience. If a story is about a girl and her puppy, then that puppy becomes the most important thing in the universe. What happens to the puppy and how the girl reacts matters more than any broader event. There may be a revolution, a war, a natural disaster, or even an AI takeover or alien invasion. But to make the story compelling, the author must filter every event through the character's emotional experience. The hidden power of the plot grid is its ability to map this experience. Don't just use it as a checklist for plot points. For every event, ask, how does this change the character? Let's look at Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Plot event. Harry receives a mysterious letter from Hogwarts. Emotional impact. Before this, Harry felt neglected and invisible. The letter's arrival changes everything. More than a plot point, it's the moment Harry first dares to hope that he might belong somewhere. That feeling becomes the emotional engine that pulls the reader into the story. Stories are always about characters and their journeys. The distinction between plot-driven and character-driven stories is misleading. Characters react to the events of the plot, but their reactions, in turn, influence the plot's direction. To prove it, try a thought experiment. Take a supposedly plot-driven classic, The Count of Monte Cristo, where Edmond Dantes escapes prison, finds a treasure, and seeks revenge. Now, replace him with Jean Valjean from Les Miserables. Would the plot unfold the same way? Of course not. Valjean would likely use the treasure to help the poor and seek justice, not vengeance. So both plot and characters are equally important in moving the story forward.
In step 2, add a row called Protagonist's Emotional State to your grid. Here, you'll map how their feelings change in response to the plot. An emotional progression could look like hope, to doubt, to despair, to resilience, to triumph. This ensures your story isn't just a sequence of what happens next, but a meaningful journey of inner change. Step 3. Create a detailed story outline. Now that you have your big picture framework, you can zoom in. Add a column for every chapter of your book. Don't worry if you don't know the final chapter count, you can always adjust this later. As you populate each cell, make sure every chapter is doing its job. Ask yourself, what is the character feeling now? What changes emotionally in this scene? What belief about themselves or the world is being challenged? If several chapters go by with your protagonist feeling the same way, the story can feel emotionally stagnant, even if dramatic things are happening on the surface. This emotional flatness is a main reason readers disengage. To avoid this, weave your main themes into the plot and the character arc. For example, in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the theme of love and sacrifice permeates the entire story. Harry's mother, Lily Potter, sacrifices herself to save him from Lord Voldemort. That act of love becomes the force that not only protects Harry, but shapes his entire journey. Oh, I know that creating a detailed outline can feel daunting, but it can also be very fun and empowering. It's a living document, a tool meant to help, not constrain you.
I like this. To be slotted in. Elegant. But all these various, some of them are red herrings. Yeah, I look back and sometimes I can't remember what the hell I was writing at the time.
Okay, ready to take your writing career to the next level? If you want to create unforgettable characters and stories readers will cherish, check out this book. It's a comprehensive guide covering everything from core storytelling techniques to devising a winning author strategy. Link in the description below. So, what are your thoughts? Have you tried Rowling's plot grid or similar methods? I'm curious to hear what works for you. Leave a comment below.